Hi everybody, it's Mr. Bob again, and time for another chapter of Street Shadows. And today, I should say, we have chapter 9 called Together. And this is getting rather interesting as two former childhood friends now find themselves at opposite ends of a battle between their respective families, you might say. Now, this is an interesting thing, and I have found this to be true in my own life, that sometimes people that you consider friends, that you have times when you're at odds with them or even in a battle with each other. And I will say that one of the things I've learned in my lifetime is that it doesn't always have to stay that way. Sometimes we feel like if we become enemies or we become at odds with other people, we feel like we need to stay that way all the time. I don't think that's true. And I think it's important to kind of keep this in mind as the story progresses. Because sometimes our best friends are people that we have had difficult times with. Because we learn that we can trust them when things get tough. But we'll see how this thing turns out this time. This is chapter 9 called Together. And we start off with Scruff. Scruff smelled the blood right away. As he padded through the abandoned lot toward the porch, a tangy, metallic odor hung in the air. Sticking his head under the porch, he saw Jagger lying in the dirt, not moving. "Jagger, are you okay?" he pleaded, poking him hard with his nose. Jagger grunted and lifted his head. He didn't reply immediately, crawling gingerly out from under the porch and standing in the yard to face Scruff. He had cuts and scratches all over him, and he was favoring his back leg. Scruff felt his stomach bunch up in a ball. "I'm okay. I fought them off." Jagger's voice was pained and angry. "What happened? Who did this to you?" "It was that older female pup from the hillside pack, and a few of those runts. I was on their side of the fence, but only a foot or two. I was just passing through, minding my own business, when she jumped out of nowhere and attacked me." "Why would she do that?" "Don't you know?" Jagger seemed incredulous. "They've never attacked us before." "Think about it. They know we lost our home territory and they're worried. They want us to move on." He sniffed. "I think she was trying to really hurt me. She jumped on me, trying to get at my neck. Luckily, I'm so strong. I was pretty easy to fight her off, but one of the pups got a good bite of my leg." Scruff took a sharp breath in, wondering which pup it was. "Did you hurt the pup?" "Why do you care?" Jagger snapped back. "You care if they live after what they did to me?" "No," Scruff replied hastily. "I just wondered what happened, if you got any of them." There was an uncomfortable silence. Then Jagger continued, "Well, I'm sick of waiting for you to decide what you want to do. It's been more than a week since we talked, and all I get from you is hesitation. I don't think you can delay much longer. They are worried about us now that our territory is gone. They've gone on the offensive. We need to figure out a plan. It's not safe for us here anymore." He sighed sadly and turned to begin licking his wounds. Scruff patted over and tried to help him, licking some blood off his haunches. "Ouch! Get off of me!" Jagger snapped, and then he softened. "Sorry, it hurts a lot." Scruff sat down beside him. "What are we going to do about it?" "Well, we have two options." Jagger paused, looking intently at Scruff. "Either we leave this place and never return, or we can stand up for what we deserve and let them know that they have to let us continue to live here." Scruff felt panic rise up in his chest. He couldn't imagine leaving this area. It was the only place he had ever known. Also, even though the forest was destroyed, he felt a strong pull to be near it. It was the only link he had to his family. But doing violence to the hillside pack? He had been wrestling with this problem for the whole week, and it made him feel sick to think about it. He hated them for killing his mother, but at the same time, he felt a strange draw to Pika and her siblings. He couldn't imagine actually hurting them. Jagger continued, pushing the point. "Remember, they are monsters. What is going to stop them from continuing? We should stand up to them." Scruff hesitated. "I don't know. How are we going to take on such a big pack? They are so much stronger than us. Maybe we should just find somewhere else." "Fine!" Jagger's voice was sarcastic. We'll just hop over to the next huge, peaceful green hillside. I'm sure there's just one down the road with no coyotes living in it." He paused and took a deep breath. "Scruff, this is the real world. If we leave, we'll probably have to split up and each find ourselves a sorry little patch of trees that hasn't already been claimed. Is that what you want?" "No," Scruff insisted. "I don't want to split up from you. I just don't know how we're going to stand up to such a large pack." "I have lots of ideas." Jagger grinned, his teeth appearing to glow in the darkness. "Let me think about it, okay?" "Think about it? Fine. You can think about it while they organize themselves to come and kill us. That's a great idea. I can't deal with you right now. You're so weak sometimes. See you later. Maybe." Watching his retreating form, Scruff felt panic rising up in him, stronger now. Dark birds flashed through his mind, circling and circling, waiting to claw his throat out. He didn't want to be alone again. The anger and fear welled up in him, and he raced after Jagger, running up to his side. "No, don't leave. I'll help you. We can make a plan. Talk to Lamar or something. Let's give it a try." Jagger stopped and gave him a cool smile. "I'm glad you're with me on this one. You know, it's only right. They've stepped over the line. Now we need to show them again where that line is." "So you think you have a plan? You think we should?" "I have a plan." "Okay, but I don't want to." "Don't worry about it. You don't have anything to do. Just follow me now." Jagger walked away into the darkness without looking back. Despite feeling uncomfortable and scared, Scruff followed him down the alley, across the busy road, and toward the industrial area down by the train tracks. He noticed that Jagger no longer seemed to be favoring his hind leg, and walked confidently, strongly, a dark shadow in the night. And that's the end of chapter 9. And I think it's an important thing here to think about this particular part of the story before we finish. Was Jagger being completely truthful? Doesn't seem that way, does it? It seems like he's kind of manipulating the story a little bit to get Scruff to find his side of the situation. And it's hard because sometimes we don't always know how other people perceive things. But I think in this particular case, the author has given us some insight to the fact that Jagger isn't being completely truthful and has some of his own agenda. And Scruff is going to be put into even a more difficult position later, I think. Sometimes that is the way it happens. People that befriend us don't always have the best intentions. And sometimes we have to make difficult choices about what is right and what is not right. And sometimes we find ourselves in positions where we don't always know what is the best way to go. And so we're going to find out exactly where Scruff falls into this. And I think the same as Pika. It's one of those things that life can be difficult. Sometimes we have to make difficult choices. And I think books like this help us to understand that our perspective isn't always the one that's actually true or the best. That sometimes we have to wait and see how things fall out. And I think that's the case in this book. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed our story, and we will talk again next time as we hit our next chapter in Street Shadows. This is Mr. Bob saying goodbye. Bye-bye.